G'day, good evening. Thank you for listening. This is an agricultural horticultural show focusing on plant science, soil science, and microbiology. And information provided is for educational and scientific purposes, and it's fact-checked. And any of the papers or websites that have been discussed will be put in the description below. And if you're watching this back, you might want to fast forward just a little bit until we get up to the start at 2 minutes. So about 1.5 minutes time, I'm going to go through 5 lectures of the university course that's called Organic Farming for Sustainable Agricultural Production. So I'll give it about another 60 seconds, just for some more people to arrive, and then I'll go through and we'll start. It's another 40 seconds now. Time goes fast, doesn't it? And if you've got any questions, you're welcome to put them in the chat. And not only questions, but just any comments, just like Infinite Wonders did. It says, hey. Oh, Infinite Wonders, hey. So 15 seconds, and I'll go through the stuff that will be a bit of a summary of what's going to be in today and why it's good, or why it's more so beneficial. I'll stop that. So watch the cricket later on. New Zealand versus Pakistan's on at the moment. So what am I doing here? That's right, I'm going to share the screen. There we go. So I'm going to be going through these vermicast quality and marketing. So if you want to make some money off vermicastings, you can. It goes through a little brief discussion on that, how you can do it. And then pest and disease management. I'm going to go through all the lectures on that. And yeah, and it's on organic farming. So there'll be nothing to do with any chemical sprays. Well, they might be chemical, but they'll be produced by a plant. So they'll be safe, in other words. And that should run us, I reckon, up for the hour, because hopefully there'll be some questions and things too. And we could also talk about biopesticides. I hope they're in there. Biofertilizer, if they're not in there, that'll easily get me up to the hour. I can talk an hour on that topic just by itself. And save these for next week. The crop management talks about nutrient management and various different crops, how to handle them. And legumes in particular is really, really important, because you should always be growing your clover or some sort of legume off season, or when you're not in season. Some pretty cool stuff I learned actually this week about some clover, white and red clover, or I got crimson clover. It's very nice about harvesting your own. Anyway, I reckon it's been enough ramble. Say good day to Sunshine RB. Hello, Sunshine RB, the little funky looking man. And hello to Genetic Memory Farms. Good evening, peeps. Good peeps, he says. And then Elsie Jeffro says, good evening, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. That's the way. So let's rip into this. So, vermicastings. This should have been in the end of last week, but I didn't realise that. So it's just this one. I think it's got 10 slides, 12 slides on it. So it's the last bit on it, quality criteria for vermicomposts. So physical characteristics, chemical and biological, 3 things that make up good soil. Those 3 properties, and there's things within them which make up those elements. Yeah. I'm not going to talk about them. There they are there. because it's more so on pests and diseases today. So this is just really summarising the last bit I should have done last week. So the quality criteria for vermicompost, same thing, vermicastings, and organic carbon, it's 20 to 25%. This is pretty important. Pore space means that they can hold a lot. In between those pores are available air gaps that can hold moisture, and that's why it can hold heaps of moisture. And acidity should be around neutral-ish. Cation exchange is good. EC, in other words, the salt concentration, how high it's, and it should be below 1 decisiemens. In other words, pretty low. If you've got a ppm meter, you should be testing the runoff, and it'll probably be pretty high because it'll be leachate, which will be the concentrate of it, which that's pretty. See, might go into that. And the total nitrogen percentage should be 1 to 3, and the carbon and nitrogen ratio should be about 10 to 20%. Chemical and physical properties, so the total P and K, phosphorus and potassium, above 0.7. CalMag should be above 1 and 0.5. Ammonium, nitrogen, 300 ppm, and nitrate should be 100 to 200. So it's the criteria for getting quality. So it's the quality bit. So you can always get a harvest, but is it up in that quality bracket to maintain it? Comparison between conventional vermicastings and enriched. I did a video on this, on enriched vermicastings, on some studies that I'm not sure if this goes through, but it just shows the difference. So if you go and put conventional here, for instance, it's the NPK, CalMag on the left, conventional, microbial enriched, and rock enriched. So here they put microbes, which I always do, it's a good practice, and rock enriched mainly for phosphorus. And you'll see that the numbers will be, phosphorus will be heaps higher. Oh, look, potassium's heaps higher. Must have had a good source. Oh, and they got calcium heaps higher too. Huh. And I'm not going to go through them. But it's beneficial to enrich with good microbes, nitrogen fixing bacteria, phosphorus releasing bacteria, potassium solubilizing bacteria, all those really good ones. And then you've got different time stages of the year you might want to put in your actual biopesticides. So tips for marketing. So to market vermicompost for a top value, the produce must be uniform, consistent, and reproducible. Don't think compost as only end product. Truly understand your targeted growers and their expectations. So what's this flowchart show? Producers, traders, cooperatives, and consumers. And you have farmers, researchers, government agencies, and other bodies. And the marketing channels and the market volume of vermicast in Nepal is there. I study in India, and they teach you the easy way, and then they teach you the way you can do it with, if you can afford it. Usually I call it the USA way. So I love it. So here you go. They're teaching us how to take orders. So you've got to get on the phone and do your paperwork. Isn't that rad? I love it. Look how old-fashioned it is. Even the labs. I say, oh, here's a lab. Look how old-fashioned it is. It's just so, I love it. New marketing. Look at the new boxes, UPS boxes. Labeling of the vermicompost bags. Well, name the product, logo, composition, crop-specific suitability, usage details, specific action, manufacturing, and expiry date. The most thing is the manufacturing expiry date, because it does expire. Sample cost analysis of vermicompost of having 10 beds and cycling it 6 times a year. So you do 6 harvests a year. So this is in rupees. So it's a massive conversion factor. $10,000 is 10,000 rupee is $150 US. So for them to construct it costs that much. And the construction of the shed, Then machines, and then irrigation. Total is 100,000. So what's that? $500. This is over in there with their exchange rate, and that's why you can get things cheaper in India and stuff like that too. Sample costs of analysis. So you can go through this and look through it if you're interested in doing a, what's it called when you start a business? It's the like the breakdown, the management plan, your costings plan. So this is under your costings plan. So if you want to go and do it and to get to all these factors and stuff like that, you can press pause and go through them. And these are returns. So the first year you do this flow chart. Second year, what you're going to get, blah, 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 and it tapers down and see if it's going to be value worth for you. And then here's an analysis with the enriched. See the difference? Massive difference. There you go. Now we can get into this one. To pests. Should see if there's any questions though first, actually. Any comments? Genetic memory frame says class is in session. I hope you enjoy it like I enjoy it, because this actually helps me to refresh my, because I haven't done these classes for, I don't know when this was done, at least 4 years ago. So it helps me in that sense. So I do enjoy it too. Introduction to pests and disease management. Typical signs of pest and diseases. Common pests in crops: insects, mites, nematodes, mammals, and birds, and others. Common diseases in plants are fungal, bacterial, viral. So how can we mitigate and slow them down and stop it? On the basis of feeding mechanisms, insects are classified as biting and chewing, piercing and sucking, and boring. So there's all that's important to target different organic pesticides for different modes of action. Insect damage, some typical symptoms: leaves with holes, curled leaves, rotten fruit, withered plants, holes in trunks or stems. You can see here in some bad pest problems. On the basis of movements, I'm skipping through this because I'm also on the mitigation and how to fix it and different ways to fix it. I'll slow down on those factors. But we all know what pests are and how to identify them and things. But for those who don't, this is why I'm going to go through this a little bit slower. Look at red spider mite. On the basis of movement, insects is classified as slow and fast. On the basis of ease of observant, insects are classified as hidden or easy to observe. Okay. Mite damage, nematode damage, they all have different factors. You can look at the leaves. Bacteria, they cause any of the following problems. They produce enzymes that break down cell walls. This causes rotting. Some produce toxins, which cause early death of the plant. Some produce sticky sugar substances that travel through the plant that block the narrow channels, preventing uptake of water and nutrients. Some produce proteins that mimic plant hormones, leading to overgrowth and tumours. That was in my crop breeding class at Agrobacterium, tumor feces, or Rhizophaerium. Fungi, it causes the majority, 2/3 of infections in plant disease. If you pretty much got something wrong with your plant, you can therefore assume 66% of the time it's caused by fungi. And therefore, that will be caused by high moisture for those spores to able to reproduce. Back to fungi. It includes all white and true rusts, smuts, needle casts, leaf curls, mildew, sooty molds, anthracnose. They are responsible for most leaf, fruit, and flower spot cankers, blights, wilts, scabs, and root wood rots. And you've got viruses. Viruses mostly cause systemic diseases. It shows chlorosis, like yellowing and change in colour in the leaves and other green parts. Light green or yellow patches of various shades, shapes and sizes appear in the affected leaf. A virus, they look like they are, nutrient deficiencies are uniform. Viruses are not. You'll get patches, you get blotches, streaks, different things that don't quite look right. And that's not nutrient related, that's viral related, or it could be fungal related. But that's a typical thing. If you've got a disease in your plant, it's looking bad. See how this here is struggling a bit? You can't say that's magnesium. You can't say it's nitrogen because you can't see the veins. So the overall yellowing, still green patches. So it's not magnesium. So that's a way that you can read the leaves to give you an indication of what's going on. Crop losses due to pests and diseases. Well, it depends on what area you're in. They're just high. The crop protection market. Herbicides, fungicides, biopesticides, insecticides, and others. This is on organics, so we're going to go through a lot of organic mitigation problems, which is blooming rad. Don't need any of that. Global biopesticides and synthetic pesticide market. You can see biopesticides, look at the difference. So people are still polluting it. Yeah, I'm not going to go on about speech. Biopesticides is slowly going up with education. Once people are getting educated about it, they're going, what? Biopesticides actually stays in your substrates? What? It reproduces itself? What? It works for you? What? Some of it produce phytohormones as well? Oh! So it's about education. I'm going to read that. Let's see for 17, 18, pest and disease management. 3 levels, level A, B, and C. A is preventative, B is physical and mechanical ways to do defense, and C is allowed biopesticides. So we'll go through those sections in detail. I'll see if there's any questions. None. That's cool. Share screen. Selection is adapted and resistant varieties. So choose varieties which are well adapted to local environment. This allows them to grow healthy and make them shorter, allowing pests and diseases. Example, tomato varieties advertised as VFN are resistant to 3 types of pests. What can I add to that? I'll keep going. Selection of clean seed and planting material. Use of pathogen weed-free seed at all stages of production. Use of planting material for safe sources. When you go on your seed sourcing, people that produce it, I produce it, so I manufacture my own seed, and it's hard to get the seeds that are free of organic matter. So then they've got pests and disease on them that can slowly break down. And if you get that, you're in trouble. Use of suitable crop rotations. The reason why they do crop rotation is because that, well, here you go. Maize. If you keep growing it in that same spot, the pests are going to love it and keep multiplying it because you're giving them the same thing. So that's why they put crop rotation. And the easiest way to do that, you can keep growing in the same spot, but you just grow another crop out of season. So if you do your maize now, it grows in season for a few months, and then you do another crop afterwards of the out of season. That's crop rotation. Intercropping, growing 2 or more crops simultaneously in the same field is called intercropping, just like you can see here. It increases the biodiversity and decreases pest outbreaks. So another way to do it is plant like fields of marigolds, a big strip of that. You might have seen people do that, and that comes up a bit later, but that attracts pests and disease. Use of balanced nutrient management, moderate fertilization, Steady growth makes a plant less vulnerable to infestation. Too much fertilization brings problems. Balanced potassium, no, don't need to read all that. Organic matter is the key. So if your fields are poor in organic matter, they're high in sandy loam, just increase the organic matter. I've talked a bit about that, how to do it with compost or make your own with grass clippings, grow your own. Have an area like a pond, like GMF was talking about, and you grow all your grass around that and harvest that every few weeks. Put it in a pile. There's your supply of organic matter. Inoculate it before it rains. Application of suitable soil cultivation methods. Well, you'd have your methods right. Don't go for it. Use of proper water management. Yeah, too much water causes problems. That's the whole thing. The water activity level, AW, if you want to do your maths. Above 65% is bad. You've seen what it stunts. It does all sorts of problems. Fungus love it. Creates anaerobic pockets. Conservation and promotion of natural enemies. So you want to grow plants that attract good pests. So even if you put marigolds in, you don't need them, but they're going to attract the pests. I've got a weed at the moment. They talk about ladybugs that it loves. Ladybugs just sit on it for some reason. They're not eating it. They just sit on it. So I've kept a few of them weeds around, and I've got an aphid problem on some Brussels sprouts. So I go and pull a few of those ladybugs off and put them on the Brussels sprouts. As an example. Selection of optimum planting times and spacings. Pests and disease, they happen at different times. So if you plant them right, that's another problem to get around that. Use of proper sanitary measures. Remove infected leaves. All these virus leaves and stuff like that, you can't put them on the ground, or don't try and put them back through your compost heap. Well, I mean, you can if you've got a very good one. If it gets up to that thermophilic temperature, you'll be right. But generally, discard them. Put them in a bag and just toss them in the bin. Then you know you've got taken all the disease and those microbes that cause it off-site. Easier. Here's your cover crops. There's a marigold. Uses a trap crop. Looks nice too, doesn't it? Trap crops, they're small plantings of crops, varieties that draw particular pests away from your main crop. What's that? Alfalfa planted in strips. Okay. Practices in level B. So this is ways to somehow mitigate it. You can do mulching, because mulching can reduce disease in some extent by reducing soil content and maintenance of an even soil moisture. Because also another thing, moisture is held in, and all your beneficial ones can multiply and do their thing. So you're developing a O layer, it's called, in soil horizons, that's very beneficial to your crops and substrate underneath. Okay, crop management. By training and pruning trees, this increases airflow and decreases outbreaks and diseases. Yeah, you know, too much, not enough air gap causes botrytis, grey mold. Solarization. Covering with plastic, soil with plastic in summer allows the soil to get hot and enough to kill many pathogens. So that's one good thing of this artificial mulch, plastic mulch that you put down. I'm putting that down next season for my garlic, for a few good reasons. And here's some ways that you can trap insects. So there's a few ways suggested. Here's a light trap, a yellow sticky trap, or a green sticky trap, and a pheromone trap. So the light traps, they're really good for night, for catching all the moths and that sort of stuff. So you see here, make your own if you want. Little trap underneath, and with the water, you want to put a little bit of that does one more bang. I'm going to have to fix that. A bit of weather at the moment. For in the water there, put a few drops of a wetting agent, and that will decrease the surface tension, allowing insects to go in and be drowned and not sit on top and possibly run across the top of it and eat the other ones or stuff like that. Yellow sticky traps and green ones. They reckon greens are good for nematodes, for thrips. I don't know about that. But they're good for, not for trapping, but for identification. So you can go up to them and you go, "What? Look at all my leaves. They're all getting really bad here. Look at the sticky traps and see what's around." It's the best way to do it. See what's the higher numbers. So they're good for identification of your problems. And pheromone traps are just good for elimination. You got too many grasshoppers, where you get your pheromone that lures the insects into them and traps them at the bottom. You'll see the net will be full. That's just because, I don't have to explain what a pheromone trap is. Fruit bagging, that's self-explanatory too. Bit of effort. That's it for that. So level C, biological control. Here we go. Here's the fun bits. Woohoo! I love the microbes. He loves the microbes. Nothing else has been said. I'm just checking. Just checking. Biological control or biocontrol is the use of natural enemies to manage populations of pests. It relies on predation, parasites, herbivores, and other natural mechanisms, but typically also involves active human management. Because you've got to know what you've got to be putting in at the right time. If you haven't developed an environment for it, well, there could be possible outbreaks too. All right, that's it. Sorry about that. Types of biological pests. You've already probably read them. Augmentation involves adding microbes to a situation. Bioaugmentation, it's called. And on the right there, they put trichogramma, which is an insect that helps against corn fruit borers. It's not trichoderma, trichogramma. Gramma is the insect bit. Derma is the fungi. Conservation. So these natural enemies are already adapted to a habitat and target a pest. And the conservation is simple. Right. Conservation. All right, what's this chart? It's about effects of access to flowering plants of varying plant species on predators. Okay, there's a study there. Selection of nectar plants to use to combat rice pests. So, okay, so that's what the study's for. So they've gone, that's pretty cool, isn't it? So if you're into that, you can go and combat it with that. It's one way of looking at pest control. Population dynamics of pests and predators. Look on the chart here, population dynamics of pests and predators. The number of predators, as the time goes along, increases. So your population goes up, but then you've got your pests go up, but then you've got your predators come in too. Then it equates, and then it should go through, and you've got that cycle. So by keeping in mind of the cycle that goes through, you'll keep with your crop rotation and your IPM and keep things under control. Release things at the time when you need them. Releasing natural enemies like Bacillus thuringiensis, which controls caterpillars, beetles in vegetable and other crops, mosquito and black larvae. It's also produced, you get the right type, it's indole acetic acid, like mine, because I use BT. It's fantastic. Very good against worms. Lepidopteran pets the worms. Fungi, here's your trichoderma. Trichogramma is an insect. Yeah, Trichoderma hazarium, that's the one I use. And that is really good. It's known to parasite important plant diseases like dampening off. It also can affect plant diseases by antibiosis and competition. It works as a growth stimulant and improves yields and product quality. Only, if you get the right one. So you got to get the right species. So you can get, not all trichoderma has indole acetic acid. It's because Fusarium doesn't. The other two do. I'm sharing the screen. So you can just by sourcing the right microbe, you can get little bonuses like the growth stimulant. Fungi works against insects. Beauveria bassiana is an entomopathogenic fungi that causes a white muscadine disease. And what's the one that causes a green muscadine disease? It's the anisople, Metahizium anisople. That's the fungi that causes the green of. That's one I use as well as this Beauveria bassiana. And viruses you can also get that target specific things, but they'll have to be ordered. Well, I suppose these got to be ordered too. But there's an example here of NPV, nuclear polyhedrosis virus, which is effective for several types of caterpillars. Biopesticides. Some plants contain components that are toxic to insects. Then these plants extracts applied on infected crops. They're called botanical pesticides, like Azadirachtin from neem tree, pyrethrum out of chrysanthemums, rotenone, which is the attractant for flies, that's out of skunkweed, those in North America, nicotine, limonene out of citrus. They're all botanical pesticides. So by you growing them and putting them back into your compost heap, be very, very careful, because they're a biopesticide. They can kill ones that you don't want. They can kill beneficials too, that are active in those different ways that they affect their systems. Most botanical pesticides are contact, respiratory, or stomach. That's the thing I was just trying to get to that point. Therefore, they are not very selective, but target a broad range of insects. Botanical pesticides are generally highly biodegradable, so they become inactive within a few hours or even days. This reduces, again, the negative impact on beneficial organisms, and they are environmentally safe compared to chemical pesticides. Massive important thing. Go through a few of them. Neem, which is just brilliant, in low percents. Its active ingredients, azadirachtin, that both kills, deters many species of caterpillars, thrips, and whiteflies. Get the Eco Neem if you can, because you can rely on it if you're in Australia. There's another brand getting around which I wouldn't rely on. Neem solution is effective within about 8 hours after preparation, and when exposed to direct sunlight. So it's not very. So you don't expose it to sunlight, and you want to use it within 8 hours. You can't just make it up and leave it sitting around. Pretty important. Most effective time to apply it's in the evening after preparation under humid conditions. Reason why it's humid is because the drops will stay active a little bit longer. Neem products as pest control. Well, it targets everything. There you go. Don't have to go through that. Neem applications. Yeah, they use it as cosmetics, isn't that funny? Insect growth regulator, plant fertilizer, biofertilizer. Apparently with some humans, it fixes malaria, CV disease, all sorts of skin problems. But I'm talking about agricultural purposes here, and it helps us with biocontrol and biofertilizer. Neem cake, neem cake's a biofertilizer. So if you were to grow it yourself and extract the seed, cold press the seed and the leaves, you'll get your azadirachtin in concentrate, and you'll get the neem seed cake, which is your biofertilizer. Pretty rad. Neem applications. There's a lot of chemicals that companies that have used neem, and these are the names of them. And this is mostly in India, so they're not pretty. Go for Eco Neem if you're in Australia, and in Canada, Sorry about that. It's banned. Taken off the shelves in 2018. In states I don't know. This is the last one. I should see if there's any questions. Poor Canada. No questions. Look for the sharing button. Actions of neem. Well, the modes of actions is pretty important. Remember at the start, said those different ways that the like the phloem sucking, sap sucking insects, like what are they? I don't want to make this like a spider mite. That's tissue. So it's cell sucking. What's this? Aphids of tissue. Anyway, I'll just keep going. I don't like saying stuff that's just making it up for the sake of saying it. So I can't think of anything that's nothing's coming to head. But by attacking the right pathways, it really helps with your knowing your bugs. And neem helps with a lot of those pathways. It disrupts, inhibits, blocks, repels, deters, poisons. It's got a very good mode of action. If you want to make it, here you go down the bottom. There's a formulation for you. Around 30 grams of neem seed kernels, 1 litre of water, and use it for the day because remember it expires. Pyrethrum and pyrethrins. Pyrethrum flower. Pyrethrins are insecticidal chemicals extracted from dried pyrethrum flower. The pyrethrin causes immediately paralysis of most insects. But so remember that it causes most insects, so your beneficials. So it might be good, it might break down fast, it might be organic, but it kills most insects. So it wouldn't be my first point of call to go and to use that. You'll get spiders, you've got all these sort of nice things that really help. Here's some mode of actions. Disrupts the sodium and potassium ion exchange. I'm not going to go into all those mode of actions here, but it helps with different pathways. You can read that. If you want to add PBO, the reason why that piberonal butoxic PBO is added, it boosts it up a bit. You'll see that in quite a few. There's some formulations if you want to make your own. If you want to go get your flowers, grow your chrysanthemums, pick them, make your own mixture. I'd really suggest doing that because you know what you're getting. Getting it from, if you really want to go fully organic, growing your own seed and making your own formulations of organic pesticides is very beneficial because you know what's going into it. It's hard to trust people these days and companies. Just because they say they do the right thing, it's not really enough for me. Rotenone is an insecticidal compound that occurs in the roots of Darius species in Asia and several other tropical legumes. I'm pretty sure it comes out of skunkweed. It's that foul smell you smell out of skunkweed in North America. And those people who know skunkweed, they know that smell. It attracts flies. Rotenone. That'll do. Mode of action. Rotenone is a powerful inhibitor of cellular respiration, the process that converts nutrient compounds into energy at the cellular level. Rotenone is extremely toxic to fish and is often used as a fish poison, pesticide in water management programs. So yeah, be careful around using it around ponds and stuff like that, around your fish. Not really going to talk. This is pretty much, I think nicotine's legal everywhere. So I don't suggest to grow it and use it as a pesticide, but it is used as a pesticide. It helps against soft body insects. In both mammals and insects, we're a mammal. So nicotine is an extremely fast-acting nerve toxin. That's why humans get stimulated from nicotine So yeah, spit out, isn't it? Citrus oil is another thing. Limonene and linalool. You know, linalool is from lavender. Well, it's not from, but it's a major provider on those terpenes. Oh, here it says down here. Limonene comes from, is about 90% of crude citrus oil. And linalool is found in the citrus peel and in herbs and flowers. Oh, very good. Mode of action of these two. Mode of actions aren't quite fully understood yet, but they reckon the spontaneous activity of sensory nerves gets affected. And some motor nerves, adult fleas and other insects may recover from knockdown. However, unless limonene is synergized by PPO. Remember that PPO thing I read out before? You add that, and sort of boosts it, turns it from like, say, 50% into 90% effective. Like doubles its strength nearly. If you want to make your own, here's something you can use from 100 litres of water, 10 litres of urine, 1 kilo of green chili, and 500 grams of local garlic. So you put them all together, boil them, filter it, ferment it. So that just means leave it in a bowl there for 5 to 7 days, and hopefully it'll smell good at the end. And then spray it. Here's one you can do from neem and cow dung and urine. Same sort of way. The reason why all of these are very beneficial, because you've got different pathogens and microbes around your place, and you can multiply them by doing this. And using the cow dung, they might be different microbes that you haven't got. So, or different types. If you can source manure that has no antioxidants or problems in it, disease and stuff like that, that's where you'll be inoculating potentially new microbes. Like in, if you can get access, a really good source is milk, but it's got to be unpasteurized, meaning that it hasn't been put to temperature to kill off a lot of the bugs, kill off a lot of the microbes. You can use normal milk, but you don't know if it's got all the goodness. So if I was getting right into it, I'd go to a health food shop and spend top dollar and get a litre of milk of unpasteurized, of maybe cow and goat, because they've got different microbes in them, and use that. And the amount of microbes that they got into them in milk is, I'm seeing nearly all the ones that I use that I've paid good money for to get large amounts of them, you can get them in milk. So it's just a good source to think about. This one uses as a seed treatment. So if you've got problems that you know you're going to get, you can also do these IPM measures, or these biopesticide type of fertilizer biopesticide ways with seeds. So you just prepare the same mixture and soak them. And then you've got to dry it out afterwards, let the seeds dry, and then use it within 24 hours. That's what they say to do. Well, by drying it though, that's when the one bacteria, can I bring that up on the screen? A bacteria looks like a Tic Tac. So when the bacteria is functioning, it's just doing its normal process. When it's nearing the end of its life, when it goes through that growth phase and it's in the saturation phase, stationary phase, before its death phase, that's when it starts to produce its endospore. And so it can reproduce itself. So do you want to keep it functioning, or do you want it to just be there to make it pop its head up at the right time? So that's what the drying and wet difference is. Or you can do a soil treatment. Oh, so you don't have to do it for your plants, just do it for soils. If you've got poor soils, you might want to do this treatment with cow dung, cow urine, green manure. Pulse flour is manure as well, just ground up, and a handful of soil. There you go, and ferment that. Very cool ways. Precautions regarding use of plant extracts. Some botanicals may be dangerous for humans, and they can be toxic to natural enemies. Nicotine, for instance, derived from the tobacco plant, is one of the most toxic organic poisons for humans and other animals. Pyrethrum are not poisonous for humans and warm-blooded animals. Before a new botanical pesticide is applied in large scale, you should try it on a small scale. Make sure it's going to work all right. Don't have direct skin contact. Treat all this like they're pesticides. Put your PPE on. That's what that gets down to. We all know about personal protective equipment. Use it. I keep in my top right pocket one of those masks, like the COVID masks, your 2.5 micron mask, just for whenever I need it. I use it if I'm down near the boundary where the neighbours' fence are when they spray their friggin' glyphosate Roundup stuff. I put it on them because I don't want any problems within my stomachs. Righto, that's it for the pests and diseases. There's a question here. Sunshine RB says, you can get raw milk at supermarket now. Oh, wow. Very good. Yeah, well, if you're doing your cultures like you are, get it. Buy a very small amount because you only do one, 20-litre buckets, 5-gallon buckets, I presume, and tip a little bit in it. So I'd be tipping in, what's a shot glass? 30 mils. If I was doing a 15-litre culture, batch culture, or a fed batch culture, I suppose, because I'm feeding it, putting different organics into it, I would put about 2 or 3 nips of milk. So what's that? 60 to 90 mils of milk in my culture before I'm doing it, and seeing if that done any difference. And remember, mix stuff up. So you might do this week with it, next week without it, and just use manure input, and that's going to give you a broad range of microbes that will be able to do their own thing, synergize, and give the best potential outcome. Remember look, there's Raptor. G'day, Raptor. Cheers, everyone, he says. There you go, Raptor. Remember, the broad range of microbes really helps for different times because they all do different things. And that the largest pumpkins in the world grown just out of Anchorage in Alaska, they did a metagenomics test of the soil, which means they test every microbe in it, and they found that the species was above 20,000. It was phenomenally high. We average at a good substrate will have a few thousand species in it, maybe 4 or 5, and they've got upwards of 20, and that's what they can only put down, not the day length, they put down to the diversity of microbes. Because remember, my microbes, pretty much all my microbes, produce phytohormones. And you know what giving hormones to an athlete does, or to a bodybuilder? They only have to have one 8-week course and they put on 15 kilos, 30 pounds. So that's of only one particular type. So by doing the right phytohormones, you can give your plants exactly what they need at the right type and get some amazing results like I am. There was a test with gibberellic acid and grapes. And if you can even just spray it on, do a foliar on the outside, you don't even have to put this different microbes that produce gibberellic acid in the substrate. And it's compares 50% bigger grape bunches of grapes. That's an example that comes to mind. It's pretty cool. So you can get, that's good to know, you can get your milk from the shops. What other, 10 minutes more to go, what other pests problems could we talk about? Actually, here, I'll just show you. This is my microbe list. I'll just show you. I don't really mind sharing stuff. There's cool folk here. Let's talk about biopesticides and biofertilizers. The up-to-date stuff. So here, Arthrospira platensis. That's the cyanobacteria. In my latest course, they called it blue-green algae, which it's not. And I corrected them, and they said thank you for their correction. They'll try harder, because it's not. So don't fall for that. I don't know if I can go in here. These are probably more studies on it. Oh, these are my experiments on it, with it. Just how it's 70% tryptophan, Arthrospira platensis. It's very, very good. So in different applications, you can get the benefits out of it. Arthrospira platensis. It's one of the 3 types of spirulina that there are, and I'd suggest getting one of the other 2 types, because this is the only type I could get. The other 2 types produce their nitrogen fixing as well. Mine isn't. It's still got some extremely beneficial factors though. But that's an example of what I do with every single one of these microbes. I'll go and do different studies and things with them. I'll go and get, here's the good one, Azotobacter coccrum. That's a nitrogen fixing bacteria. It pulls nitrogen out of the air and can supply, converts it into nitrate, NO3, and available to the plant. It fixes about 20 grams per nitrogen per hectare per year. Also degrades benzene, and it also phosphorylizes, solubilizes phosphorus, and this non-symbiotic as well. So it's, what's the other one? Nitrogen fixing, azospirillum. Is that one? Azospirillum is another one also that fixes nitrogen out of the air and converts it to ammonium, NH4. But it also produces gibberellic acid and cytokinins. So isn't that amazing? So look at that, gibberellic acid. Oh, wow, cool. Well, if I add that with a few others, oh, look, another GA. Oh, another GA. Oh, another GA, another GA, another GA down here. Look at them all. All of a sudden, if they're used at flower time in those particular ones and activated, bang, that produced gibberellic acid, and you know how good it swells fruit. So that's an example of using microbes with extra benefits for your biopesticides and biofertilizers. Because this one here is a biofertilizer because it produces nitrogen and it breaks down phosphorus, where Bacillus thuringiensis, it is a biopesticide, kills pests like we went through before. Oh, and also it breaks down phosphorus and urease, which is very important. And carbonic anhydrase. Carbonic anhydrase, it's a zinc-containing methyloenzyme that catalyzes CO2. So if you're into carbon sequestration, this is exactly what it does. There's the Metahisium anisople, remember the one that produces the green mescadine disease? And so there's also even, that I haven't tried this one, but I'd like to, it's a weed control or a herbicide. So if you get, I don't even know what the F stands for, the species name, Colectotrichum. What's the F stand for? Colectotrichum gliosporides. So that's a herbicide, one that I haven't tried, but because I'm scared that one's going to knock out some herbs, because it's a weed. You know, weeds are herbs. So it's just really, really just scary. There you go. Might see if there's any questions. Aussie Jeffro says, hello, Raptor. Perfect show today. I have a few things marked, written to come back down and write down. I have had good results using Neem. Thanks for your time, 60 today. Thanks, Aussie Jeffro. Yeah, with Neem too, make sure you get the right percents, because too much, if you go like 5%, 7%, something really strong, it can kill the leaves. They don't like it because they get that into their pores, and it does, the mode of action happens on the plants. So you have to go at a percent which isn't effective to your plants. So it's the only really thing about Neem. But yeah, it's just brilliant. Sorry to those poor people in Canada. Raptor says he's ordering a few Neem trees in the fall when they're available. Woohoo! Go Raptor. That's what I want to do too. I've looked at that for a while. You know, Neem trees are pretty big. They're not small things. But yeah, that's something that's on my to-do list too, because Neem is very beneficial for, you know, its NPK is like 5. It's really high, the Neem cake. I've been through these pages for a while. Come on. There it is. Neem meal. 1.5 to 2. So if you were to get the neem seeds and the leaves and put it through a cold press, that's the fertilizer you receive afterwards. 5 is to 1.5 to 2. Did you know that cattle dung is 0.35, 0.1, 0.2 point? So it's like 20 times as strong neem meal or neem cake as a fertilizer. So yeah, it's good work. I'd like to do the same thing to Raptor. Aussie Jeffro says, okay, thanks. Yes, I have seen an overdose before of neem. Yeah, it's terrible. Poor plants. They don't like it. Raptor says, I'll be pollinating and replanting. Yep. That's the go. And keep your neem seeds. I've just gone through here we talk about, here's a bit of a secret. It's coming cold in Australia and getting to till time because it's going to be frost soon. So that means most of the green manure legumes will die. So that's time to till it back through so you can keep that green in your substrate. And then what you want to replant with is something that's frost-free. And white clover, red clover, crimson clover is frost-free, believe it or not. It can do down to minus 18 Celsius, which is 0F. So that's something to replant with when you're coming into winter. Get some of those sources, let it go to flower. So once the flowers go, they'll flower out, and then the bees will come, and then the seeds will form, and then it dies. So once the heads die, grab them, harvest them then, and then you've got white or red or crimson clover for your next season. So that's what I do. And that adapts to your conditions, and it's a lot better for your environment. You'll get better reproduction rates. You might get your endophytes, the microbes that have lived with the clover or your other things inside of them, so they'll keep going. That's a good little secret for winter. We're coming into Raptor says, I recommend getting small sprouts. The seeds sprout poorly over time. I recommend getting small sprouts. The seeds sprout poorly over time. I recommend getting small sprouts. I'm not sure what that means. Maybe the neem tree. If I was going to grow it, I'd just get some seeds myself and just put 10 out, and maybe out of that 2 or 3 might survive. Or I'd pick the most robust ones if it comes to, say, 12 months' time. Seedlings and neem. Yeah. So Raptor says, Raptor recommends getting small sprouts of neem trees as the seeds sprout poorly. Oh, yeah. Thanks for your input. Hello, Blinky. Nice to see you, Blinky. I haven't been around much. Crapped up this summer. Bloody hopeless. That's no good. Hope your gardens are prosperous and releasing your stress for you. You've missed a few good shows of agricultural growing, I suppose. Seedlings and then, yeah. Blinky says, crapped out weather. The weather was so indoors. Everyone, hope you're doing well. Doing all right, thank you. So the weather's been bad, yes, it's no good. Make sure they're fresh seeds, yes. Or if you're having problems with germination of seeds, that means they mightn't be, like Raptor says here, fresh. So you might want to source it from somebody else, get a different batch off them. They mightn't have stored them properly. Seed storage is just massive. I'll do a show soon about, I think I should go through the seed technology class the course that I did, and talk about seeds more. It's the start of life. The embryos are in there, they're live. So storing those things are so important to have success when replanting. So yeah, that might be something to do after this course is finished. I like that one. Blicky says, I'll catch up once my head's been put back on. Oh, that's no good. Yeah, that's the way. It's been a lot of good courses. It's some of my best studies. I've gone through and reviewed those courses, and that's what I've been doing for the last few weeks now. Also changed my logo, changed the title, changed a few things to make it more friendly online. This is having quite a lot of problems there. Now things getting monitorized and everything's going a lot better. So I'm quite happy. And it's agricultural engineering is what I study anyway. So why not get more into the plant science, soil science, and microbiology? Some of the fascinating things I've learned that I can share, that I'd like to share. Other people can have benefits as well. I love it. Been going for an hour. Let's have a look at what's going to be. I could have talked more about biopesticides. How's me mum? What do you mean by that? How's me mum? This is introduction to organic crop management. This is what I thought I'd leave till next week, because this one, it's going through very quickly. Look, tillage, nutrient management, essential nutrients, and then what we went through today, how to read leaves. And that's the whole presentation. So it's very, very quickly skimmed through. So I thought I'd save all this till next week, and we can go through that. And then it goes through different types of ways that your organic inputs can be used as an NPK supplement, which is so important. Actually, you might as well. The reason being because I went to our major supplier here. I got all of this, what's it called? Chook poo. But now, since getting it and not working as per it should, chook poo has a 5:2:1 NPK. It didn't work one bit. I got massive nitrogen deficiencies. I looked into it more. It's called blended chook poo. It's not raw. So in other words, they just add bits of grass and whatever they can find around and put it in, and that's how they sell it. So you're getting a massively, massively diluted product. That's why it's so bloody cheap. I was really upset with that. So I bought quite a few bags thinking, oh, you beauty. So this is, I'll go through this in depth next week on how to get the right NPK ratio to your plant. If you require 100 kilos per hectare, my garlic requires, I think it's 80 kilos per hectare. How am I going to get that 80 kilos for the crop, the whole of the crop? Because I'm not putting chemical fertilizers on the top like everyone, like people do. I want to put it into a substrate or top dress. So how can I achieve that with organics with the right NPK ratios? So I'll go through that on how to do it with the right things, like neem cake today, 5, 1, 1.5 down here. How can you get that? What does that mean in real terms? So if I want to put down my nitrogen recommendation, I'll just take quickly. Nitrogen recommendation, 100 kilos per hectare. Well, that means I need 5 divided by 100 is 20. So I need 20 lots. So if this is per kilo, I'll need 20 kilos per hectare to supply it. I'll go through that in a bit more in detail next week, because it goes through a bit more stuff down here. I think it goes about, I looked at it before, it says there's a few maths questions on how to do it, but that's a really applicable one, to put the right fertilizer dose in before. So in other words, you amend it and then let the microbes work with you. And then you'll probably get a bit of a boost because you'll use nitrogen fixing bacteria, which will boost things up a bit, etc., etc. So we'll go through a bit of nutrient management, and this is that course. So these are the next lectures. So those are the two I just showed you then about nutrient management. Then it shows you different crops. Potatoes, tomatoes, rice, wheat, peanuts, legumes, mango and tea. And then I'm also going to go through meat because, well, it's very important, organic meat, but it starts the next following week on crop production and some other different planting techniques and blah, blah. So I thought try and go through 21 to 28 next week. And if you're going to pull one lecture out of it, well, the first two are rad, but this one on legumes, this is massively, massively important because we're into organics. So how are we going to give an NPK to the soil? How do we do that? Well, you do it majorly through legumes. Different legumes have different NPKs, and I'll tell you my secret one that I've found through my studies that is brilliant. It's brilliant. And I've just, and I can't make the seed of it either. But anyway, we'll go through that a bit next week. So that's what you can pick out of that. So if you grow any of these, you might want to really chime in. But for everyone, it's legumes. That's the winning factor for organics. And even for people who are not in organics, legumes, it's a soil improvement crop. So not only does it's if you've got rhizobia, which pretty much everyone will have if they don't pollute their soil and kill it off, it fixes nitrogen in the root nodules of the legumes. So it stores nitrogen. It's a soil conditioner. So I'll go on about that next week. It's really, really cool. How's your mum? That's right. Yeah, that was weird. Rap says, neem has very poor germination. I don't know how that's evolutionary beneficial. Oh, okay. Oh, have you tried a few different sources or a few different? Remember, neem's a tropical plant, so it'll require those tropical conditions. And also, if the seeds, a lot of people, they produce the seeds and they'll store it wherever they want. They won't refrigerate it or store it in the conditions that it's required to last a while, or because seeds expire very fast. There's 3 types of seeds: your mesos, your micro, your mesos, and macros, and they expire within a few years. The different sizes of the seeds. The larger seeds last longer, and smaller ones expire way faster if they're not connected in the right, kept in the right environments. He says, you have a mother. You have a mother, you told me. Just asking. Hope you've been good too. Okay. I thought that's Rove on that TV channel on Channel 9 used to say, how's your mum? That's what I thought you were referring to. I just thought it was Wasn't really sure. Hello, Lene. Nice to see you, Lene. Raptor says, got those exudates. Get those exudates. What's the exudates? Are the things that is excreted from the roots. Raptor says, all the literature I've read and nurseries I talk to advised against buying them. Against buying what? Oh, neem seed. Oh, well, okay. They've had no luck. Well, if anything, that makes me more reason that I'd buy it just to try it myself. Because like lychees, for instance, they're hard to germinate. So things, but they require different conditions. You might have to put it through a cold treatment first, or a heat treatment. There's different seeds that require. They say they used to require heat in Australia. They go through a fire and then they germinate after that. That's their dormancy breaking technique. Well, it found out that those seeds were smoke. It was the smoke that broke their dormancy. So there's different things that break dormancy that they require to produce their radicle. So that's in that seed technology class that I learned all that stuff about seeds, because it was an 8-week class on seeds. It was pretty cool. Yeah, and that would give me more excuse to try it. I'd source it from different. I'd probably go onto eBay even, or Etsy, and someone that grows has the trees. They'd produce it themselves, so you know it's going to be within that season. And then I'd find out, for instance, it might be they produce seed in December, so I'd be looking around to buy it in December, January. So I'd know that it was this year's seed if it was from the persons that grow it. That's if I was told that it was very difficult, just to make sure that you've got the highest chance in reproducing it. And you should be able to, especially you, Raptor. You're pretty cluey. I reckon prove them wrong, mate. And it might be hard to do, but it'd be pretty cool to say that you've done it. Raptor says, I know where a tree is by me, so I'll keep an eye on it. Oh, my goodness. Oh, yeah, mate. Look it up on the Northern Hemisphere seeding dates for neem. It's going to be a tropical thing, so it'd have to be, I don't know, in September, October, you'd be looking for seeds. You go through summer in June, July, it would do its thing and start producing seeds at the end in fall. So yeah, that's what I'd suggest. Oh, mate, and that's perfect for you. That's in your, those seeds have been adapted to your conditions. You're just going to make sure you get the pods. I'm going through a thing with buckwheat seed at the moment, and it's hard, very hard to get a viability that's above, say, 80% with the seed, because it doesn't germinate, it doesn't mature uniformly. But out of that, I've got to produce many types of buckwheat, so I want a large range of seed. You only need 1 or 2 trees at the most, because neem's a humongous tree. So I reckon you should do all right. Comes a storm. And the black colour of the sky suggests it's going to storm here in a sec. My internet might go down. If that's why it goes down, that's why. Actually been going for a while now. I should nearly end. Get back to the cricket. So next week, I would hope that you could chime in again and we could see, why would you want to chime in? Well, the first 2, the organic nutrition and why the plant wants what it wants. And then the last one on how to give it. So that's the reason why I hope to see everyone and the rewatchers back here next week and ask plenty of questions so it clears your head on what you want. Because we've all got different growing conditions and different environments, temperatures, whatnot. So everyone's different. So it's good to get your area nutted down by asking all your questions, and I'm happy to answer that because I've lived in the Northern Hemisphere and the Southern Hemisphere, so I know the different growing conditions quite well. Lived for 5 years in Canada 5 awesome years in Canada. In a few different spots there. Did a few good things. Raptor says, I'll check if it self-pollinates. There's only one tree. Oh. Yeah, I don't know, to be honest. I can't remember. That'd be a question for me to look up. Does neem tree monoecious? Oh, it didn't answer my question. Oh, it's only because it's not does. Is the neem tree monoecious? It still didn't answer it. Those search engines don't like the technical stuff, do they? Does neem tree self-pollinate? Now it answers it. It says yes. Neem tree are self-fertile and they self-pollinate. That's some really good news for you, mate. So yeah, you'll be able to get out and grab plenty of those seeds. And I'd nearly suggest if the nurseries say that they're that hard, I'd grab yourself a fistful and pollinate quite a few and get the seedlings up and ask your nursery closest to you, do they want them? Are they interested in organic or organic seedlings for it? Might be something for you to get into, mate. Because and if you haven't got that, look into buying a cheap little pop-up greenhouse you can put close to your house and possibly get some more neem going. Because if the nurseries say, you might have found yourself a little niche area in your environment. And if they're that hard to grow in seedling form, that means the trees might be very expensive. So you might be getting yourself, you know, a good little earn for the trees. Because that's what, well, here's an example. Look at that in Australia. Bamboo, I paid $80 for a 2-foot bamboo plant. $80, and I looked around. $80. What's another example? A lychee tree was $70, 70. Just examples of how you can use your plant knowledge and your tools from what you have in your environment to reproduce money and earn it. And all this agricultural stuff, it applies pretty much across the board. So if you like cactuses, if you like any other plants that are in your environment, oh, wow, get it going. It's pretty cool. Oh, there's been a fair bit written here. I'll check what the computer says. Yes. Yeah, it says Blinky, yes. Raptor says, I plan on selling the extras, actually. There you go. Oh, I should have just looked at them. Why not? Blinky says, love a good earn. Yes, and why not from your blooming agriculture things that's now stress relieving. It's good fun doing it. They grow, Raptor says, they grow well here. Also looking into selling soap nut trees. Oh, soap nut. Yes. Good on you. You'd be nearly getting a stall at the markets by the sound what you're getting going, Raptor. The soap nut trees are pretty cool for, well, the soap nuts. I've never tried it, but they reckon they're not saponin? Well, you can use them instead of using washing powder. And I thought that'd be a pretty cool alternative. I'm using, because I want to get organic certified, I'm using, my washing powder is green certified, Earth Choice or something like that. It's just, so, good on you. Blinky says, I grow bamboo from seed very well. I grow bamboo from seed. Holy mackerel, that's a good effort. Apparently, the bamboo is extremely hard because I looked at doing that. That's why I ended up getting a cutting. And our cuttings are pretty easy to grow. But to grow it from seed, they say, is so you must have a bit of a green thumb. So why not take cuttings of that and whack them in pots, and they put it on sideways, and the nodes grow upwards. So take some cuts and put it in that, keep it wet, and do what Raptor's doing. Reproduce and get top dollar. Even online these days, I buy mine online. They sell it to people online through Clever Packaging. So you get these long, tall, skinny boxes that you put a pot in. So you make sure you grow the pot at the right size. Or sometimes they grow in black polyfilm and make their pots out of that, and then they slot them in. It's some pretty cool stuff. Raptor says they work very well. Yeah. Raptor says, yes, lots of plant-based supplements. Oh, yeah, that's what's in them. Yeah, I don't like saying the stuff unless it's... I only like to quote... If my memory gets a bit foggy in areas, I won't quote that stuff. Because I've got a pretty good memory, and it used to be photographic, and I got epilepsy and it went downhill. But it's slowly starting to come back with all this study I'm doing. So I can picture things that's actually in text and I can read it. It's pretty cool. Thanks for that, Raptor. Blinky says, I do have a green thumb. Thanks for the tip. Yeah, why not? Make money out of it. When I get time, that's what I'd be possibly doing too, and putting them online. Blinky says, I've gotten free ants in those plant thingies. I've gotten free ants in those plant thingies. What's that mean? Free ants. You've gotten some fungus gnats when you purchased a plant. That's all I can think of. But yeah, by getting your own cuttings and reproducing that, you have to go and ask your local nursery. So you'll speak to, that's what I'd be doing. That's what I will be doing when I get time down the track. I'll be going to my closest nursery and saying to them, are they interested in my plants? I'll tell them my studies and who I am and what I'm about, or even just maybe write a spiel and email to the closest 5 nurseries. So I could say, for instance, I'm an organic plant scientist. I've been doing this for many years. I can reproduce that. Plant health is utmost important, because that's what really all they're interested in, is a plant and the plant health and the substrate health. So you talk a lot about that. And you'd inoculate them with your bios so they'd get actually better than any others they've gotten. You could talk about your organics and seeing if they're interested in supplying yours. And I'm sure you get that's how these nurseries get their stock. So especially if they're lacking in certain areas, if you found like Neem's a niche tree that's not in your area or at very little nurseries, bang, you've just found a plant that you can capitalize on. So if you're really, really interested in that, look into it more. So it's pretty cool. I've gotten plants from Queensland. Still don't know what that means. Blinky says, it's true. Bought live plants from Queensland. Oh, in those boxes. Oh, not free plants, free ants, free plants. Oh, okay, I understand now. It's true. Bought live plants from Queensland in those big boxes. Yeah, it's a pretty cool way so anybody can post them domestically. Blinky says, I bought a now deceased finger lime and it came with free bull ants. Oh, that's terrible. See, they're the things that aren't good. So when you tell your local nursery that you have an indoor plant area where they're not going to have a chance in vectoring or passing on any pests or any problems for people's areas, because it could potentially be a biohazard as well by transporting, like, you can't put bananas interstate in Australia. There's different diseases, bees, different species have bio problems, and you don't want to put them in different areas. It creates habitat imbalance. So that's another thing you could tell. Raptor said, great advice. Ben, wanting to grow and earn money now is the saving part of my journey. Hell yeah, that's right. This is the way. I always said with my studies, remember, Raptor, you've known me for quite a few years, that from studying my agricultural engineering, and I was going down the track with another plant, and I always said that worst case scenario, I can do fruit and veg. And now I'm over that plant because it's gotten me nowhere, and I'm doing agriculture, and it is blooming excellent. All this plant science and stuff, microbes is working. The potential to make money is humongous, like you've seen with take some cuttings, some clones, different reproductive techniques, and you've got yourself a plant that was $100. You've just made 10 of them. You can sell them online for $75. Oh, what? Because you've undercut someone, they've sold within a week? Oh, gee whiz. The potentials are humongous with the plant science. It's great fun. I just did a course. I'm nearly finishing week 10 on crop breeding, and there's a few new techniques in that. I spoke to the professor actually last week, and it was just me and him talking about half an hour in the live. It was so exciting. I really, really love it. So there's fantastic potential to earn money with other herbs, fruit trees, vegetables, let alone crossing. I've got, I'm going to do a video soon. I've got 5 different vegetables that are purple. Purple cauliflower, purple carrots, purple beans. What's the other? It's purple potatoes. And there's one more. But the difference to cross things and to breed different colors is huge. It's very easy to do. The different create new varieties, and then you've got a new variety. Bang, you produced a lot more of those seed, and all of a sudden, or just sell the little seedlings. It's fantastic. The amount of stuff that can be done to make money out of plants is really huge, and people are getting more into it now with the way that organics is going and the way that produce is going. Produce is slipping, the quality is slipping, so people are more getting into it. So it's a good time. So yeah, I like talking about that, producing money from our skill legally too. We don't even have to talk legally about when we're talking about fruit and veg. It's great. Yeah, so good stuff, Raptor. Keep commenting. I like the words. Blinky says the ants are deceased too. Immediately stomp them. Very good. Raptor says, once I get my bachelor in plant science, I'll be able to teach. Mate, you've been able to teach for a while. You used to hold a panel with me. You remember you were the fungi expert. You still are in my eyes. So yeah, I wouldn't put that aside. Just because people have a bachelor doesn't really mean much. It's the experience and the education. It's what subjects you did in that bachelor. And most universities only have a mandatory of, if it's a bachelor in plant science, they might only have a mandatory of 5 to 8 of the 20 subjects that are actually plant science. Other ones will be literature, maths, legal stuff, marketing, all these other things that are kind of not into the plant science, the sciencey realm, if you know what I mean. So I wouldn't put the bit of paper as too much. People who are uneducated really think highly of it, but once there's education involved, it's the bit of paper doesn't mean much to me, because it depends where you've done it and to what the outcome is. Universities that, so therefore you're qualified in my eyes, Raptor, right now. Hey, there's 420 Fred. Hello, 420 Fred. Blinky says, I let the nursery know they were contaminated with creatures I don't appreciate. They gave me a big credit. That's cool. And you know what they would have done? Probably nothing. It's really sad because they're in it for more the money. We're into it for the organics and the quality. So that's a pretty big difference. Do it, Raptor. Raptor says, 100%. I just been a California official academy. 100%. I'd just be, yeah. That's why for me, the university I study in India, and the pathway I've got an option for 600 different courses every single semester. You go to different universities, they'll be struggling to put on I'm only talking about Australian ones here, they'll be struggling to put on, I don't know, 50 or maybe even 100. But out of those, how many are related to your agricultural science? 1 or 2, where I get a choice in the biotechnology and other agricultural areas of, I reckon there's at least 20 to 30 every semester. And the ones I haven't done, I do, but I've done pretty much all of them. So that's only the newer ones done, like this semester was 3 new classes on microbes and plant breeding. So I get the ability to focus all my studies just on the plant science, soil science, and microbiology. Where if they get into legislation and breeders' rights was another course, I started doing it and I didn't. I just wasn't interested. It's not my pathway. I want to get into the science of fiddling with things and what happens with microbes and how we can reproduce in different areas. How can we crossbreed protoplasts? How can we do different culturing techniques? Different fun sciencey stuff that hasn't really been done or it's just playing around with. My professor, the one crop breeding one, he was just, we're talking about ploidy and how I've made tetraploids and played around with triploids. He's only just started doing that with the orchids, and he was keen to know how my experiments went, and he said keep him updated. And so it just shows you that there's pretty much new things that are happening in plant, soil science, and microbiology that you can get into that other people are only starting to, or they haven't expanded much in it. And that excites me. That means that our techniques that we can possibly put into place can earn us good money. It's the potential is humongous, and that's what keeps me really, really going with my studies. To think that wow, a lot of this stuff's only new, and they only do it with one particular crop. Wheat, for instance, is one of the highest crops that's grown on the planet. So a lot of people will focus money and sciencey stuff on wheat. And if you put their techniques they've done in wheat into other crops, they'll work exactly the same way. That's how I got all these genetic resistances in that other plant that I was used to working with. I transferred genes and all sorts of stuff from ELF genes and all sorts of rad stuff just through the techniques that have been implemented in other plants. So once we do it in our plants that we enjoy, bamboo, cactuses, all this sort of stuff, we can have new varieties, new colors, new expressions, new ones that put out different terpenes, profiles that might have lavender smell, that if I cross lavender with something plant, it's that hasn't been done, or it's very hard to do, that you need protoplast tissue culture to do it. It's exciting. I'm going to stop there because you can hear my voice. I'm getting excited. I'm supposed to be wrapping up. Blinky says, love a lovely orchid. Yeah, what is he saying? They're too slow to grow. It takes years to reproduce them and stuff like that. So it's hard for his test out his tetraploids. Raptor says, microbiology isn't even 100 years old. Robert Koch was, I think, 1700. He discovered the microscope, and then he said that the electron scanning microscope and microbiology itself as a science is very, very new. Yes, that's for sure. And especially electronic microscope, all this computer-aided stuff, it's only in the last decade. It's even this last few decades. It's extremely new. And then 99% of microbes can't be cultured. A lot of them are symbiotic, so you don't know what happens when you add different ones into them. It's so new. It's not funny. So yes, microbiology is the study. And now they've only just learnt about what the gut brain axis in humans with microbes. So there's good stuff coming out of micro. I've probably done, I reckon, nearly 10 courses now. I'll confidently say 8 microbiology class courses in university. I'm starting to get a lot more up with the microbes now than I used to be. And one thing too, my first teacher told me that don't try and remember the names, just acknowledge them. And then before you know it, after seeing it numerous times, you'll know it. And then you'll start to learn the genres they come from. Then you'll know the families. And then before you know it, are they gram positive, gram negative? It'll just all slowly come. It's pretty cool, but I'm getting totally off topic. You're getting me excited. Look, Raptor, you know my things to G me up, don't you? Blinky says the internet, if used for quality education, is brilliant. Yeah, I wouldn't rely on the internet much. I hate to be. That's why I study at university, Blinky, is because I got poorly let down. There's so much bro science out there. People are just putting their words out. Google's putting it into their search engines first, or they're paying people to put it in the search engines. Or you go and look on YouTube, and there's a lot of stuff that's conflicting. And I was sick of getting that. And that's what made me think, stuff this, I'm just going back to university and I'm going to learn it all myself. And then I'll know the science on how things work and why you shouldn't do stuff, not just why I shouldn't do it. I want to know, like, what's the behind it and the reasons why, so I can make different adjustments or different situations that suit me better. I say, like I put to the search engine before about that technical question about the Monosus species is neem plant. It couldn't answer it. And then I put in, when I made it basic, is it self-pollinated? It says yes, the artificial intelligence. So I would use it as a good guide, not as a something to rely on. I like to rely on papers. So I'll put into Google Scholar something that I'm interested in, and I'll read all the papers. Like, remember all that microbe stuff I showed you before on all my stuff I've got? I have gone into Google Scholar and put into agriculture, Bacillus thuringiensis, and seen what comes up. And then click the dates to make them recent, and then download those papers and read them. Then I'll save them into those microbe files under different microbes, whatever they are. That's how I get my knowledge on those particular ones. So I'll know that, like one of the azos, you can use 80% of sugarcane, it supplies nitrogen, one microbe. So it's good to know from papers and from my even my university stuff I can't trust. I corrected them, and you've seen me with some of my slides. I've, like the composting stuff the other week, it wasn't, the percent was incorrect. So there's a few things that you just got to be careful about. That, so that's why with my show, I always try and quote the facts and to what I believe is true. So you can pretty much rely on it from, and it's stuff that I don't know about. I just say I don't know about it, or I can't remember. I'm not going to comment on that, which I say quite often. So I'm not a computer. I've only done a bit of education. Blinky says, discernment, mate. I don't know what that means. Blinky says, I've learnt to suck eggs decades ago. Chalk is chew. Yeah, okay. Experience is best teacher. Yeah, with this even more example, tissue culture, it's only really new, and the different techniques that have been discovered, for instance, the different media is really cool, like the Suraji and what's it? MS medium, Murasagi and Scrooge medium. You use it half strength for different things I learnt the other day in crop breeding. So different stuff that because science is forever changing and forever growing. New things are getting discovered, like the microscope, electron scanning. Different machines are being made, and so the science is forever evolving, and that's the bit I like about it. It's always changing, and from me doing the courses that are pretty up to date, I'll learn stuff because they write a lot of these courses from papers that have been done through experiments. So a corn manufacturer might pay scientists to do a study on their corn and to say something about it. So I'll read those papers and put them into my areas of interest, and that's how I'll make my decisions. And that's how a lot of these courses are written too. The nanotechnology in agriculture class, that's so new that it was only pretty much written on papers. We had to go through this paper, the results, why this happened, how it happened, next paper. So it was pretty cool in that sense. So yeah, that's my little input for what's out there to learn. Be careful on your teacher. Yes. There's a good summary. Just be careful on your teacher. Experience is the best teacher, says Blinky. Raptor says, I should have said tissue culture isn't 100 years old. Oh, yes. And that would be correct, wouldn't you? I'd go for sure. When was that actually start? Last week's lectures was on tissue culture. Should I just bring them up? I've been going for a fair bit. They were pretty cool too, because it was the course was written last year on crop breeding. It's crop breeding and biotechnology, plant biotechnology. I think it's the name of the course. And yeah, we went through the tissue culture stuff last week. Anyway, Blinky says, can't teach grandma to suck eggs. You've not heard that one. No, sorry. Haven't heard that one. I'm from Northern Australia. Blinky says, but you put it into practice, right? See? I put eggs. I'm sorry, I'm really not following. But you've put it into practice. I don't know. I just like to get the right information to help me, because I've been really unfocused. When people say, do it this way, it'll work. Well, you live in Canada and I live in Australia. Our climates are different. Microbes are different. I do organic, not synthetic. There's just a big variance. So that's why I really went to Canada, to do a lot of experiments with that plant, and did plenty of experimenting and ruled this out, ruled that out. And it was great. I loved it. I believe he said it's an old Aussie saying. Oh, gee whiz. Oh, yeah, that can't teach grandma to suck eggs is an old Aussie saying. Yeah, I don't know of it. Oh, sorry. I'm honest. I think he said, I've been trying to agree with what you're saying, you goose. But, oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not too good with messages that are written in messages, that sort of stuff, as you see. Now I get it, what you're saying. Oh, yeah, you're agreeing. Oh, cool. It helps. And next semester will be a lot more different courses, and they're forever writing new courses. And that's what gets me excited. That's what keeps me going, really, because I think, how can I earn money out of this hobby that I love? And from doing this new crop breeding course, there's a few techniques where I can try now to do in other plants that I haven't done and that other people haven't done, to bring genetic resistance. I should stop talking. But yes, the study is good. Science is fantastic, and it's forever changing, and I'll be forever studying it, I reckon. All right, get you an hour 43. So write in now if you've got anything to say, because otherwise it'll be wrapping up. And we'll be getting back to that cricket game. Australia, no, it's New Zealand versus Pakistan in a one-day cricket match is on at the moment. It's probably about halfway through. It'll be good. And next week we'll be doing more of this plant science, soil science, and microbiology. Can't wait. I'm happy. Leaky says, I believe in you. You will get there, CC. Yeah, thank you for your nice words. I'm pretty much there. I'm on their university. My face is on the university website. They send me out T-shirts from the uni. I'm very happy in what my studies has led me to. It's such a beneficial thing to study, because we all need to be fed. And there's going to be biodiversity down the track where things are going to be changed. So it's just great, let alone the money you can make out of it, let alone feeding yourself. There's so much potential in this agriculture and engineering to benefit. and especially more so the organic way, because everybody's doing the synthetic way. So organics is, I think it's nearly a niche area from what I pick up. Well, in Australia, organics is new, they've told me in Australia. Raptor says, have you covered biochar in an episode? Yes. Yeah, mate. Now for the land. Yes, well, you've got to look after that, don't you? Or get a greenhouse so you can do your own pot plants like bamboo or something, like you were saying earlier. Yes, the biochar there was an episode on it last course. If you look through, maybe about 10 episodes ago on my lives, go to the live section, and you'll see it under the last course. But yes, biochar. Yeah, because I remember talking about it not long ago. Sorry. Oh, like you said, farming consultation. There's your ink. As if. Absolutely. I'm an organic. I'm into organic garlic. It's I don't need an income. It's dealing with people. Yuck. So many people can go, oh, but we want to spray glyphosate. Oh, we want to put in big bulk tonnage of our urea. No thanks, absolutely not. It's nearly, organics is nearly a specialised area in agriculture. It's more so hobby farmers really get into it, not large scale, because it's hard to do on a large scale to scale all this up. But thanks for the suggestion, though. The agronomists in Australia, they're not doing organics from what I see. So I could easily advertise and succeed in that realm, I think. But I'm not interested in it. Even speaking to my neighbours, they don't do it. And the amount of things that, oh, really? Oh, we should try that. Oh, we should try. Like, it's just dealing with people. I'm not a big fan of people. I tell too many people what I think of them. They get one bit rude and bang, it's on. It's not good. I'm not a people person. Thanks for the suggestion, though. Raptor says, Jesus, wind's getting hot. Thanks. I'm making small batches with a gasifier stove. Oh, yeah, small batches of biochar. Oh, righto. Well, probably flick back my lives, look for there would have been a half an hour speech on it that might help you. It's all about the temperature and what's that word they call it? Pyrorevite rate, the amount of oxygen that you get in for your heat. But you would have already researched that because I know that you're into your study, mate. Oh, Farah, hey, CC says, Blinky, I want to let you know I locked my bank since I lost 900, so I'll manually catch. Oh, shit, that's not good. Uh-oh. That's an alarm on my weather station, meaning something's going on outside. I should wrap it up. Yep, the wind's getting too high. I'll manually catch up because I want to support you and learn, just struggling lately. That's okay, Blinky, in case my membership lapses on me. Oh, yeah, no worries. You're welcome. I appreciate the support. Appreciate support from everybody that helps and the subscribers. It's very appreciative to me because I don't get really anything out of this, as you see, for the effort I put in. I'm going to have to go. It's really windy, as you can hear, and I don't want stuff to blow away. If you go, cheers. Yes, I'm going. So thank you, everybody, for watching and listening, and I hope to see you all again next week. Save your pyrolysis. That's the word I was looking for. That's it. Yep. Hope you bring your questions next week. Happy breeding, happy growing, good health to you all. Thank you. Bye-bye.